In case some people on this planet haven't realized yet, we all face challenges connected to the environment. Some challenges are greater than others. But with ingenuity and resilience, there is always potential for a greener and more empowering future. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Alems in Lagos, Nigeria.
And I'm Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia, wishing you a warm welcome to Echo Africa. Coming up this time, how a reporter from Kenya got grips with Germany's recycling system. The Gambian women who are showing the way on climate action. And the mini hydropower plants that go with the flow in Austria. In many parts of the world, it is easy to take certain things for granted, like a drink of water. Not so in places like northern Kenya, where climate change is worsening conditions that were already tough. Take the salty desert Lake Turkana, which is actually growing despite the severe drought around it. Now, for the hundreds of thousands of people in the region, managing a safe supply of water is a daily test of their resilience.
It's 6 a.m. close to the village of Moite at Lake Turkana. Achino Lobok and her friend Elizabeth Atapar are on their daily trek to collect water for their families. They must walk more than 2 kilometers to reach the hand-dug shallow wells of the Moite River that are the only source of drinking water. They have to scoop the water carefully to avoid collecting sand. The water is not safe to drink, but they have nothing else. The water is not good because it's consumed by both the people and the animals and is always left uncovered. The water causes health problems in children and adults like diarrhea. When you go to the hospital, they diagnose you with things like typhoid or amoebic dysentery. Not far away on the lakeshore, people also struggle to find something safe to drink. Turkana may be the world's largest permanent desert lake, but its water is salty. And it's growing. In the last 10 years, it's eaten up some 800 square kilometers of land and villages, along with infrastructure built by international donors. Climate change is causing extreme rainfall in distant catchment areas, driving the expansion. Deforestation and farming mean the land retains less water, which has compounded the problem. Local people, especially the women, spend hours each day fetching water. We need help accessing clean water. We are forced to close our businesses to go fetch water, and during that time, we lose customers. The water we do get is dirty and tastes bitter. I urge the government to provide clean water for the health of both children and adults. A community water project was supposed to bring change. But again, the water is salty. People use it for their animals, washing utensils and clothes, and if there's no other option, even for drinking. An aid worker interviews Achino Lobok as part of a survey of local communities to find out exactly where people get their water from and how much they need. Project officer Anne Lilande says such community-specific experiences are vital if future projects are to succeed.
So right now what we are doing, we are going to do a feasibility study to identify potential areas where we can intervene in terms of coming up with either boreholes or is it feasible to treat the lake water.
Another project on another part of the lake in the town Loyangalani supplies water to over 3,700 households, schools and businesses. But even here, poor infrastructure management has led to leaks in the pipes, and the lake's rising water levels are causing more problems here too.
One of the paradoxes we're talking about the lake, which is coming up. And so we've seen quite a lot of infrastructure that has already been submerged because of the rising water lakes. And so this is now becoming a challenge because just within a year, you can find quite a big difference. Today you're able to access a particular site, and tomorrow that site is already submerged.
Fishing is a vital source of income and food for about 500,000 people in the lake region, but it's been hard to develop a reliable fishing industry. The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute is studying how the water and the fish stocks are changing as the lake expands.
What we are doing basically is to collect fish data which will support, you can call it food security, collect water quality data to monitor how it changes, and then link these two. So the water quality data and the fisheries data to see whether where the water quality is good, how is the fish populations, how is the fish species, and many other things.
Of course, an increase in the fish harvest would also require infrastructure to cool and transport the catch to reach markets farther away. For now, life on the shores of the unpredictable Lake Turkana remains hard. The hope is that the more precisely targeted aid interventions can make it easier for people to meet basic food and water needs for their families here.
Let's face it, the effects of climate change are affecting women worse than men across Africa and elsewhere. In many societies, women generally have fewer education options, a harder career path, and earn less money. That makes it even tougher when food is short or extreme weather disrupts life. But it doesn't have to be that way, as a growing group of women in Gambia are showing.
Seen from above, this is increasingly what the Gambia looks like. Solar modules on roof are no longer a rarity, but it is rarely women who install them. Fatun Joy is a pioneer in her field and wants to lead by example.
Women can contribute in the fight of climate change because we are the energy users at home. For example, I will take an example of myself to become a solar installer because it's a men-dominated areas, and then we believe that it's only men that can do it. And I said big no to that. Fatu is a woman and she can do it. And also training more women on this will also help us to fight on climate change.
And this is where she passes on her knowledge. The solar installation training program both empowers the women and promotes renewable energy, helping communities combat climate change.
This school play a key role when you come to mitigation on climate change. One, we empower the local communities, like for example, we equip them with the training, that's the skills that we have, that's renewable energy, for them not to use fossil fuel, because we all know that what fossil fuel do to the climate change.
Education is key to raising awareness of the effects of climate change and the need to care for the environment. It's never too early to start.
I want to ask again, like I said, I'll be asking a lot of questions. What is climate change? Yeah?
Environmental activist Maimuna Jabi runs a special class in eco-education at this primary school in Abuko, near the capital, Banjul. The students are eager to learn the basics.
The climate issue or the environmental issue have become an emergency, but there's still a lot of gaps because they still do not really understand some of the problems and some of the issues, and at this stage they should have been more prepared. So that is why us coming to do some of these extra sessions, it helps to bridge this gap for them.
The class also look after fruit trees in the school's courtyard, a lesson that teaches the students to act responsibly for future generations. If the trees are cared for properly, future students will enjoy more shade and get to harvest the fruit too. A larger-scale tree planting project is underway on Banjul Beach. Its driving force is Fatou Jeng, another key player in environmental activism in the Gambia. 14,000 palm and baobab trees are planted on the city's shoreline.
If the sea rises for 1 meter, we will inundate.
Banjul is a city that is very vulnerable to rise in sea level, and trees like coconut and baobab trees are actually trees that are very important or very crucial in helping at least cope the coastal erosion. So the trees actually serve as a resistant or at least a barrier to actually help the city cope our challenge of rise in sea level.
Not too far away from the beach, in Bakau, women are also spearheading another eco-friendly project. Bakau Women's Garden is an agricultural cooperative that was established more than 30 years ago. Over the past years, the project has moved away from conventional methods towards organic farming. We cut out using chemicals because it destroys our products. Secondly, it reduces the fertility of the soil and increases the amount of salt in the soil. Now we use organic waste instead of chemicals. This organic granite waste was given to us by the Department of Agriculture, and we use it with animal manure from our homes. The Women's Garden is a unique project that provides organic food and aims to educate people about the benefits of organic farming, highlighting the advantages for people and nature, as well as the key role played by women.
Our means of sustenance and livelihood is dependent on the natural environment. So that means when climate disasters occur, our means of sustenance as women is actually going to be significantly affected. In addition to that, in our side of the world, we have seen how it's mainly a patriarchal society, and women do not still have access or sufficient access to resources that will help them adapt to the impacts of climate change. Even in terms of early warning system as well, the level of resource access is different. In terms of technology access, it's also different.
Despite this inequality in many areas, women in the Gambia are on the forefront of building a more sustainable, environmentally responsible and resilient future for the small country.
Inspiration can take many forms. Now, in places with an abundance of water, hydropower is often the preferred energy solution. But the usual way of damming rivers is costly and can harm ecosystems. One answer, especially for remote riverside communities, are mini turbines that generate electricity with minimal interference. We looked at two promising ideas in Austria.
The city of Linz in Austria. Hidden away among trees here is an invention that could revolutionize hydropower with no need for dams or reservoirs. The Stromboje or power buoy is quiet, efficient and is designed to have minimal impact on nature. And while it's currently parked on land, its maker hopes it will soon be in action in the river Danube.
The power buoy is a small hydropower plant that swims in the river, with just a chain anchoring it to the riverbed. It positions itself automatically with the help of the current. The water pushes through and drives the turbine, which with a maximum of 100 revolutions per minute should deliver the peak output of 100 kilowatts.
Fritz Mondl has spent years testing and tinkering away on the technology. He says the buoy is designed to be fish-friendly and can cope with both flotsam and high water levels. And it could soon go into mass production.
The Danube poses some very big challenges, not least how to deal with flooding, the debris, and how to deliver the electricity in an economically profitable way while generating at a high level of efficiency. So it's all required an incredible amount of research.
Some 200 kilometers downstream, the town of Korneuburg has been earmarked to host Austria's first power buoy park, which could supply electricity to several hundred homes. For Fritz Mondl, the technology promises huge potential beyond Austrian rivers, for example in Africa, starting with the Niger, Volta, the Nile, Zambezi and the Congo. Hydropower has a long tradition in Austria, with the Alps providing the elevation and the rivers the energy. Before the arrival of electricity, water mills harnessed the power of small rivers and streams. Franz Zotlöterer has devised his own vortex power plant that works with small drops in elevation. It looks like someone's pulled the plug in an oversized bathtub. When the water drains out of the basin, you're suddenly in a little ecosystem.
This habitat develops on its own inside the vortex pool. There's water moss on the walls and here on the bottom, thread algae that help to filter the water. In layman's terms, imagine you enlarge the water surface and have a high flow speed there. You can then absorb a lot of oxygen from the air into the water. The moss growth on the walls and bottom is proof that the water quality really is improving.
The vortex power plant can generate 55,000 kilowatt-hours of energy per year and is also designed to be fish-friendly, because the turbine blades have wide gaps to swim through. As we can see for ourselves, a few trout are swimming around. But when it comes to the ecological impact of these mini hydro plants, hydrobiologist Stefan Schmutz is skeptical, especially about their influence on water systems as a whole.
I wouldn't even say the vortex power plant has a positive effect. It alters the hydraulic conditions of the water body. It creates a bottleneck where all the water has to squeeze through. There have been a few tests to see if fish can pass through, and some did manage to, although the tests only involved a small number of fish of certain sizes.
The vortex power plant and the power buoy cannot compete with the huge energy output of large hydropower stations, but their small size and relative simplicity of installation could give them the advantage in certain scenarios.
I could imagine these two new technologies being suitable for areas with little existing infrastructure, because as far as I know, they can operate in a mini-grid. The investment costs are low, although one crucial point with such projects is that these kinds of installations need to be properly maintained.
Amidst Austria's well-developed hydropower network, the vortex power plant and the power buoy remain niche solutions, and bureaucracy poses additional hurdles. Fritz Mondl is currently in a dispute with former business partners, also over leasing areas in the Danube River for his planned buoy park, while Franz Zotlöterer is focusing on other markets where demand is higher and approval is easier to obtain.
There are installations in place in Italy, Germany, and the Czech Republic. We've got one in Bali, too. And we have a partner company in Japan that's already implemented a number of projects.
The vortex power plant and the power buoy both show that even in established energy sectors like hydropower, there's still room for innovation. Combined with other technology, these approaches could deliver decentralized and eco-friendly energy, especially in more remote areas. Although there's always the major unknown factor, the water itself, because in these times of climate change, its amount and power are becoming increasingly unpredictable.
And now for our special treat. We wanted a first-hand look at Germany's much-praised recycling economy from an African perspective. And who better to provide that than our very own reporter, Washira Ngujiri. During a stay in Berlin, she went to see how Germans deal with all their plastic bottles and food packaging.
This is my morning routine for most days. And being in a new country hasn't changed that. I still get to do what I love.
I am Washira Ngujiri, a DW reporter from Nairobi, Kenya.
The coolest part of jogging here? The breathtaking views. Berlin is such a beautiful city.
But hold up, one of my biggest culture shocks in Germany? Trash. In Kenya, I just have one bin where everything goes. But here,
There's a blue one for paper, yellow for plastics and packaging, green for glass, and black is for the rest. It's like a color-coded game of sustainability.
No, stop.
Oh.
You're throwing away money. Yes, you can bring it back to the supermarket and get a deposit back.
really, I have so many in my house. I think I need to do that. Where can I take them?
You can bring it to any supermarket.
Oh, any? Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
I came to Berlin with my sister, and we drink a lot of bottled water every day. Now I know we can get money back for returning the empty bottles in any supermarket. This system makes everyone think twice about plastic use. The less plastic we demand, the less new plastic gets made. This is a fund automat, a deposit return machine. It is one of Germany's recycling superheroes. Here is how it works. When you return the bottles, you get your money back. If you don't, you lose it. Normally, when you buy water in these bottles, you will have to pay a little extra.
I got water.
Curious about what happens in the plastic sorting plants, I visited one that is run by InterZero. Today, I'm meeting Bjorn Schwisch, who is the general manager.
Can you show me where the facility is?
Every morning when I enter the delivery hall and I see that huge mountain of waste delivered every day and every day and every day, and this is only the waste from Berlin and the surrounding areas. I see how much waste we as citizens are producing, and that's the story, my story, that tells that a zero waste mission is important.
This is one of InterZero's 5 sorting facilities in Germany. Here, waste is sorted by advanced machines that separate the different kinds of packaging waste into material streams.
Yeah, the easiest material to sort and to recycle is the monomaterials. They are very easy to sort and to recycle, and as well tin plate, ferrometals and so on. Aluminium is as well included in the yellow bag. Not so good recyclable are the multi-layer packages.
The sorted plastics are pressed into bales and sent to recycling plants. These, processed by InterZero alone, cut about 1.2 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions in 2023, according to Fraunhofer Institute, one of Germany's renowned research centers. But still, the recycling plant faces some challenges.
A clear commitment from the politics to sustainable economy would be very good. For example, if the politics would decide that we have to implement a refund system for batteries, that will be perfect, because every day sorting plants and recycling plants are burning because of batteries that are thrown into the bins.
Some experts argue Germany still doesn't recycle as much waste as statistics suggest, especially when it comes to plastic packaging. According to official statistics, only 46% of plastic waste is recycled, while 53% is burned to generate energy. That means turning plastic waste into usable heat, electricity, or fuel. But recycling with the deposit system helps Germany stay cleaner and greener.
I really like the refund automats in Germany, because that ensures that a pretty pure fraction with a high quality of PET bottles is collected. We can even, in our sorting plants, we can separate PET bottles and PET cups as well. But it's always better on the point of collection to separate it.
Germany is promoting a circular economy through such deposit-based recycling systems, and that's not all I'm learning here. I just found out tap water is absolutely safe to drink, and Germany's tap water ranks among the best in the world. So nowadays, I carry my reusable bottle everywhere, and there's no need for endless plastic bottles. New country, new habits, and new lessons to share. And don't forget, every small step counts in protecting our planet.
Adapting to new challenges can be fun sometimes. We've reached the end of this edition of Eco Africa. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from me, Chris Lems, in Nigeria.
And remember to check out our sources. You can always write to us at echo@dw.com. I'm Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia. Hope to have you on board next week.